Hey YouTube, coming at you with an Element Cup team that is just full fast move damage. So Cottony with Charm, the Egg with Confusion, and Slugma with the Rock Throw. And I tried it, and two of these three Pokemon I would suggest using. One I would not suggest using is Cottony. So let me just go over the pros and cons of each of them. Oh, Slugma is not a half rock there. Let me just delete that because Slugma is just a pure fire type Pokemon. But with the Rock Throw. So the Rock Throw, you can take the Ducklett matchup in the 2 shield because the Rock Throw will overpower. Plus the good news is in a lot of other matchups it's just pretty neutral because again like grass and stuff like that. Plus you resist the grass, right? So being able to throw for neutral against water too is pretty good. So Slugma was pretty good with the Rock Throw damage. Plus you have Flame Charge, which you can just kind of like ramp up on Flame Charge if you want. The Egg, I already showcased it in my Legend team. The Confusion damage is so good. Plus, it's the only other Pokemon here. Not that you're using your charge moves a lot with this team, but it's really the only other Pokemon on this team where you're using your, you can get to your charge moves at a decent pace. The grass typing is great because again, you're resisting the water, you're resisting fellow grass, and fire is a little chuffed, but the confusions add up on the fire. Connie was the most disappointing. It mostly because again, when you only have a three typing meta and fire is one of them and it resists your moves, plus there's a lot of grass that also have that poison subtyping, so that's a lot of resisted there. I just found that it was like a lot of resisted typings. Plus ever since the Charm nerf, today was the first time I think I used this since the Charm nerf, and you can see the difference. So I would probably put in a third fast move damage Pokemon if you want to do that, but it's got some play. Like this Chinchou doesn't really have anywhere to go, so they got to get out. Ducklett comes in, so you're still chipping against Ducklett. Come in here, Smackdown's a hit. You don't have to shield, you can level 1 Bulb Beam, but like it chips a lot. Smackdowns will still add up. They're gonna have to throw here, and they could to take me out. So I guess I have to kind of shield and try and take this out here. I was trying to farm down, but the farm down wasn't happening, so I was like, okay, I've got to throw here. So if they shield, they can just flip switch, and they flip switch, which is not amazing, but it's not bad. I don't expect them to get to Brave Bird here, so I can survive this Bubble Beam. They had Chinchou on the front, right? So I have 2 answers to that here, so I don't need to worry about that Pokemon. But here's your Vulpix, right? So I throw a C-Bomb, again, just to stew chip because the Egg has Ancient Power, which will be good against the fire. So chip, and they let it go. And you're going to see a lot of these battles where people are left with 1 or a lot of times 2 shields. They don't seem to like shield these resisted C-Bombs. One didn't shield a Rock Slide. So I was like, why aren't you shielding? I mean, you can do what you want, but at one point you're eventually gonna have to start shielding. They get me. The problem is I was surprised they didn't throw Thunderbolt here, and I'm surprised they didn't, if I remember. Well, they can't shield it now because I'm at 2. I was surprised they didn't throw the Thunderbolt because the Thunderbolt would have put me pretty low, and then I was probably going to be closer in quick attack range. I guess what they tried to do is lower my attack, so maybe they can get to a move, but no, the confusion damage on a Shadow versus Shadow is just too much. Terrible lead, got to go straight Rock Throw here, and they're not getting out, which is great. Again, you have to shield everything. The thing I noticed about Slugma compared to the others, Slugma is so glassy, like so glassy. And as you can see here, resisted Razor Leafs are like going to take me down quite easily. So if you're going to use this Pokemon, I just bump my attack because I'm only going to get to 1 move. Might as well get those extra rock damage through there. And that is a lot of extra rock damage. Confusion is going to take this out. So Slugma is very glassy. They come in here, which I mean, if you're coming in here, I get the idea, but you're going to be Confusion down. So I'm guessing they have probably another like Chinchou or something in the back. Or another Poison in the back. Double Poison team. Just go straight. There's no point. I tried to catch. It's low enough that they have to throw the Sludge, and now I get Confusion down. So again, goodbye Cottony, but again, they will be left with 1 shield as I take them out. And it's kind of like how a lot of this worked. It was a ton of just like fast move damage. Let's see if I play this one differently, or if they play this one differently, because they haven't thrown yet. And this one I'm going to shield. Yeah, maybe I've learned my lesson on the other one. And they go straight Brave Bird. So that's interesting because now I can just shield and farm all the way down. I think this is the one they come back in with Chinchou and don't shield the Rock Slide. Because I guess they think like I have a Cottony, so what's the point of shielding if I'm just going to come in Cottony? But like that does a ton of damage. These rocks are doing a ton of damage, so they need to throw to take me out, or else I'm gonna probably take them out. So that's fine. Or I'm just gonna come straight A because I was like, maybe something's in the back I need to get to like charge moves. But again, at this point, it's like I don't want to throw because there's no point in throwing. I tried to catch. I got that confusion. I'm shielding because that confusion is going to go through and do more chip damage. Unfortunately, there are back-to-back moves here. But the good news is the confusions have done so much damage that I can now just come in and resisted charm down. So this team is pretty overpowering. And like I said, if you replace the Cottony with something else that's fast move damage, you're probably in a good spot. Like what would I do instead? Let me just bring up pvpoke here to see what the other options are here. Because I know there's some Razor Leafers, and Razor Leafers do a ton of damage. I know that. And I guess if the charm is already being resisted on the fire, who cares if a Razor Leaf is resisted? Because that still does a ton of damage. So you could put in a Razor Leafer. Saladin with Poison Jab. Again, it's rank 7, but you need to trade it to get it under 500, so that's not as realistic. Pharaoh Seed with Tackle is an interesting one. You're still weak to fire, but the Tackle's neutral in all situations, and Tackle's not it's not even close to overpowering as what's next on this list, which is Oddish with Razor Leaf. So that's an option. Number 15 on this list is 15 on this list is Tortuga with Water Gun. And it's one of those things where it's like it's tricky. It's tricky because the meta is right now a ton of grass and ducklet and chinchou. So to bring in a Water Gun Tortuga, I think is asking for trouble. But you can. Same thing with Scrub. Scrub has Water Gun. So I guess the best, and then you get into your Pumpkaboos with Razor Leaf. So, and Badoo with Razor Leaf. So my guess would be that if you want to run a full fast move damage team, I don't hate a Razor Leafer on this team. Because even in bad matchups against other grass type Pokemon or fire type Pokemon, see, that's the thing though. Kanye can at least hit neutral in grass type Pokemon. Or I found out what you should run. Number 45, Slowpoke. Double confusion user. It's a shadow here. Shadow's just, if you're doing a fast move damage team, you probably just want to go for the shadow. You don't need to, but you probably want to. Shadow Slowpoke with Psyshock and Psychic. Slowpoke, I went against it. It's pretty, not tanky, but it's like decent bulk. And those confusions add up. So if you have 2 confusion users and Slowpoke is the water one and the egg is the grass one plus a rock throw, I think that would work. So had I done this again and you want to spend resources and want to do something like this, use my legend team first. But if that team is not working or you're seeing like too many things that beat it, a Slowpoke with confusion is probably the way to go. And that is my final answer. Unless there's something else on this list that like pops out, but I can't imagine that it's going to pop out because I think that is truly the best option here. Yeah, regular Slowpoke's a little lower. Your water psychic, so obviously you're just going to get lit up by Razor Leafers and grass, but you have your own, like you have an execute with confusion and a Slugma with rock throw, so you can lose to a Razor Leafer. That's fine. The second option is like some of these wing attacks beat you, but that's got to be Brave Bird. Yeah, that's Brave Bird dependent. You also have Psychic though, because you have Psychic, so that adds a little trick. That's okay. So if you're going to use this, which I still think is a really, really good idea, and in the most games it will not matter. If you will use this, you are also half psychic, which means you're double psychic, which means you're double weak to ghost, aka the lick on seal, and bug. And there are some, and I'm seeing on here, there's some, not that I've seen a dupe biter since, but bug bite there, stuff like that. So that could cause you problems, but otherwise I think that is probably your best option for a fast move damage Pokemon. Again, Cottonee's not bad because you hit neutral against water and you hit neutral against grass. You just like, there is so much fire in this right now. And you still lose the Ducklett because Ducklett has the wing attack, right? So the egg is number 1, Slug was number 2, put in a Razor Leafer or that as number 3, and you should be okay. But yeah, Little Cup and Master League, tough. I'm gonna start doing, because I looked at the poll, and because I put out a poll saying like, what do you guys want? And you guys were like, I had the option of like this Element Cup, Master League, or both, and it was basically like 33% each. Like you guys just want to see a bit of everything. And the couple people that I've commented have said like do some non-legendary teams, so I will do that in probably like Monday-ish, because I got this one and I got I got this one probably gonna go up Saturday, and then Sunday I'll do my Master League team with Lugia, and then Monday I'll do a Master League team with no legendary Pokemon. I just don't know what that... the problem with no legendary Pokemon, I guess I can go like Gyarados. There are some options. There's not a ton of options, but there's some options. And I'm going to 2-shield flex here unnecessarily because opponents don't use shields for some reason half the time. Use your shields. If I can give you one tip in this league, because there's a lot of Pokemon that do fast move damage, and because every neutral move does 50%, use your shields. Like, it's one thing, that's one thing in Little Cup. Don't be left with shields. I'd rather lose and over shield and make a mistake shielding than be left holding a shield and lose. So definitely over shield in this meta. Anyways, that is it. Fast move damage team. If you want quick battles and little thinking and potentially to do some good wins, fast move damage team probably works in this meta. But that is it. So stay tuned for the Master League teams. And we will see what the new league looks like in a couple weeks. So appreciate watching, appreciate the thumbs up and comments, and I will see you guys in the next one.